Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to part 82 of Let's Play Pillars of Eternity. And apparently we already got something. Let's go. As you step outside, the heavy wooden door of the temple slams shut behind you. You hear someone barring it from the other side. It sounds like the priests have engaged in an agitated conversation. You get the sense that they are discussing you, but you are also certain that the door is too thick to eavesdrop through. Although there may be other places nearby where you stand a better chance. The wooden shutters of the temple window close tight, muffle a set of voices coming from within the building. You can't quite make the sense of the murmur, but cracking the shutter open would likely help. A rusty iron latch holds the window shutters closed. With care, you should be able to unfasten without notice. Unfasten. You carefully begin to lift the hatch from its metal hook. Halfway there, the rusted iron resists with a screech. You freeze, listen to the voices and hope the priest didn't hear. Their conversation continues uninterrupted. So pour some oil on the hatch. You grab the latch and apply just the right amount of oil, nudging the metal until it gives away without a sound. Carefully, you pull open the window shutters open enough. You pull the window shutters open enough just to hear the voice, to let the voices flow through. You hear a man speaking, his tone agitated. You do that? Hope the mountains will do it. What if it? His sentence cuts if the man was speaking to all sides of the room. Propose he tells them instead. What then? Suppose he tells them. You recognize Lefter's voice responding. Why would he? And with all those dangers near the battery, our gift bearer won't delay. I expect the man interrupts her. You always expect. Look, where's that taken us? A dying village? Ogres at the wall? Ixel's not back yet, and now I have to do this. His voice drops and sieves, muffling what he has to say. After a moment, Laughter replies. Do you think I wanted this, that I could have known in advance? A pause ensues, its tension growing until all the priest's voice is cut in half. We can't wait for him. We must fish out the last batch quickly. After that, we'll decide. The man responds in a broken voice, barely audible. You only distinguish the last words. In that rustwood pond, I'll go. Their exchange seems to end. Cautiously, you step away from the window of Ondra's temple. I'm gonna go search the waters of rusted wood. After I finished exploring. Ooh, who's this?
Say, I don't suppose you've seen any mysterious old buildings in the mountains lately, have you?
The Amira wears an assortment of bangles, bands, cuffs, and chains as thick as armor. She watches you with raised eyebrow and gleaming mirth. You mean Durgan's battery?
No, but I've heard that name a lot around here. I'm looking for the Abbey of the Fallen Moon. It's an obscure temple dedicated to Andra.
Why are you looking for the abbey?
I'm a gift bearer. My job is to gather tokens of things people want forgotten and surrender them to the Lady of Lament. Best place to do that is the Abbey of the Fallen Moon.
What kinds of tokens do you take?
Anything that represents a moment or a memory someone wishes to leave behind. Well, love notes, awkward family heirlooms, bad poetry, the kinds of things you want to forget.
I see.
I might be here a while. Half the villagers have never heard of the Abbey, and the ones that have, no one knows where it is. So I'm trying to think of this as an extended holiday, in a remote mining village that smells like fish.
I've got business in the region. We could travel together.
You won't regret it. I've got a lovely singing voice.
I like her already.
So, she's a barbarian. Ooh, I want a barbarian. Oh, fuck. I don't want to get rid of Kana, though, because I like Kana. I don't want to... See, we need... You know what? I'm going to get rid of Arlas for a while. And we'll see if we need him, we'll get him.
Lead the way.
She has got... She's going to be our primary fuck... She with Berserk. Starts with Wild Sprint for the enemy with low... Yep, fuck it. Just Berserk and be aggressive as fuck. Oh, yeah. Use your per-rest abilities, please.
Hi?
You have an axe and a sword. Let's see if we can get you some better weapons. Of our uniques, we don't actually have anything suited for your specific needs. You have got unique armor. Ring and Changing Heart, what does that do? Grants dominance. Yep, fuck it. You can use that. That'll be useful for you. Saint's War Armor is technically the exact same. Has the same better. This has better pierce, but this has better slash and freeze. That actually doesn't has the same freeze, but this has crone. This has slash. Recovery speed on this is quicker. You know, we'll do this. She seems to get better healing from that, so we'll leave her with that for now. I would say, would a spear be better than one of those weapons? I'd say it's a 17 to 25. We'll try for now. We'll see if that spear makes her job any easier. Yeah, do we have any, like, spare... Does any of us have any spare weapons that are, suited for that? No, unfortunately we don't. There's a character who could, like, I mean, there's one character who could have it, but I think I'm going to leave it like that for now and see what see how we do. It feels weird without... Oh, no, we still got Kano. Oh, yeah, we got rid of... I do like how I have, like, a revolving last party member. Like, everyone else stays. Like, there's just one party member those are last. Like, the last one, we interchange. Now, we're going to go in here and see what's up. See what we can do. See if there's anyone to talk to, you know, get the lay of the land.
Let's have some skewers while we're here.
We could talk to the fishery worker. Oh, that city person. Let's see if he has anything to talk about. Fishery is closed for the night. Well, let's leave then. I guess we'll have to come in the morning. Let's see what else.
Fresh fish! Freshly caught!
Let's go speak to this guy.
Effigy's eyes! It looked at me! Ah!
Bit fucking rude. Alright, no, that's not him. There's a burnt house there. So then, yeah, the other stuff.
Feels like it's hardly worth putting the huts back up.
Better than standing out here shivering.
Nothing interesting to learn from them. This is the unfortunate place where we failed to save anyone. My fault, admittedly. Let's get that. There we go. Let's get up here and see what's in here. Actually, that's a good. Actually, one thing I should probably do is. Actually, no. Barbarian still makes sense to go right in front. I'm actually completely okay with that. That would be considered Robin. Let's go speak to.
Have those nasty brutes finally left? I heard the ogres outside, tearing down walls and murdering folk. Don't remember how things got this bad.
The elderly woman needs her hands. Her knuckles are swollen knobs, and her palms are rigged with calluses that scrape like rasp as she rubs them together.
But you're the new adventurer. Renengild's latest volunteer.
She squints at you, leaning precariously forward on her wobbling legs.
A real spitfire, she told me. Bet you'd whip those layabouts at the mine into shape.
I'd like to ask you about something.
Did you say something, dear?
Tell me about yourself.
Me? I was the overseer at the mine, back when it was running. Got shut down decades ago when we couldn't sell or ship the stuff. But I still remember plenty about the mining business. And I got as many folk as I can digging out the entrance.
She taps her head, a spotted dome under a thinning thatch of hair.
Been praying to the salty wench that I don't forget too much afore they finish the job. Got to speak up?
Okay, fair enough. Nothing too game changing right there. Let's go. I think this is the last house we've got to go to before we try and pursue that the pond, because I don't want to. I sometimes like in games they don't tell you like because when there's a passage of time that you
They've
could
destroyed
fail.
the stockade, Mother. It's...
Enough. They're gone.
She holds up her hand, which is missing the final joint of the ring finger, but it's her voice, sharp and steely, that silences the young man. As he glowers at his tones, she turns to you with dark circles under her eyes and a smile pulled taut across her thin lips.
The deliverer of Cadnua. Thank you for making the journey. Abidan knows it's a long one. Well, I'm sure you wagered on a more civilized welcome. Still, we're much obliged for your capable intervention.
She shoots the young man a brief but stern glare. He pulls a knife from his belt and an apple from his pocket and sets to work. There's a job that needs doing. That's what I'm here for.
Then far be it from me to waste your time with idle chatter.
She folds a map in her hand with a quick and merciless pinch.
Stelwart isn't much more than a grease stain on a map. What roads we've got in the White March are basically tracks in the snow. And for every trader or adventurer that comes through, 3 of our own leave for good. But it weren't always so. There was a time when kings and queens sent their firstborn to these mountains, when the White March was the envy of empires.
Her eyes shine, and for an instant she looks like a much younger woman. How the mighty have fallen. What an era that must have been for the White March.
The Pargrin dwarves transformed the White March once. We could bring some of that greatness back to Stelwart. But we need the White Forge.
She raises the map and taps a spot in the middle of the white and grey expanse. Never heard of it.
Of course. Been over 200 years since anyone's felt so much as a summery breeze near it.
She smooths the creased map.
I'm hoping you can do something about that.
She ignores the young man who shakes his head at the crackling logs. How so?
We've been trying to breach Durgan's battery for over a year now. Problem is, the other expeditions can't so much as dent the front door.
She rubs her fatigued shadow eyes. Tell me about these other expeditions.
A dozen different groups have come through at our request, and several more besides. Been hoping that one of them could clear the way through Durgan's battery. But young or old, green or seasoned, it don't seem to matter. They cast their spells, chisel at the door, and search the grounds until they've worn new treads into the old stone. The lucky ones eventually go home. Plenty more find themselves on the wrong side of a blizzard, or an ogre raiding party.
Why the sudden interest in the White Forge?
We're an old mining town. Or we were until the Adirans pulled out and left us with a half-dug mine shaft and something resembling an inn.
She thumps a sturdy wooden wall with her fist.
Since then, it's been a steady decline. You've seen the roads. Isn't much we can produce that the Valians can't ship cheaper. But the White Forge, well, if we could fire it up again and start producing Durgan steel, or something close to it, wouldn't matter if we're in the White March or the Living Lands, business would come.
She folds her arms and gives you a stiff nod. The young man says nothing, but he tosses a sliver of the apple peel into the fireplace. And that's why you need my help.
That's the long and short of it. We're laborers and fisherfolk, not adventurers. But Durgan steel could put Stelwart on the map again. Open up the mines, bring in new business. We just need the White Forge.
She thumps the desk with her fist. Why is Durgan steel so special?
Because you can shave stone with it, cleave cast iron in two, and the stuff's as rare as it is remarkable.
In her enthusiasm, Minigild shifts on the balls of her feet. She props one bent arm on the other, pointing distractedly toward the eaves of the house. If you had a suit of armor made of that, bet people would get tired of trying to stab you after a while and just give up.
If we could make something even half as good, we'd have a market at our doorstep and work enough for all of Stelwart.
For a split second, her gaze flickers to Aldrich. How is it no one's gone into Durgan's battery yet, then?
Where should I start? Ogres, blizzards, or sheer damned inaccessibility?
She ticks off the items on her fingers.
It ain't for lack of trying, I'll tell you that much. Got untold riches in Durgan steel lying just inside, and never mind the White Forge itself. The Adirans who first settled Stelwart tried to crack it. So did the Valians, and every other cocky adventurer with more metal than sense.
She folds her arms, shaking her head at a pitted floorboard.
But the place has a funny way of sealing itself up. Front door stays shut. The tower entrances are clogged with rubble, and it's been impossible to blast a way in.
Regigild trails off, and for a moment the room is silent but the propping and cracking of the fire. Popping and cracking of the fire. What's happened to Durgan's battery?
It don't bear dwelling on. There's too many superstitions about that place as it is.
She waves her mangled hand in the broad crescent, averting her gaze.
Killed each other off. Or so the old books say.
He glares at Renegild through hooded eyes.
Plenty of tales to go around, but none of them open the battery. And the last thing people need is another reason to fear the place.
Kif do enjoy their ghost stories, though the Glanfaffins take theirs very seriously.
Whatever it was, the other Pargrin dwarven settlements in the White March, Bone Picker, the Hawk, and the rest, emptied out not long after, moved to gentler, greener lands.
Had the right idea, if you ask me.
I don't see why you need the good white forge to make good steel.
Finally, someone talking sense.
He raises his knife and half-peeled apple to the fire in a dramatic gesture of exasperation.
Durgan steel wasn't just good. It was some of the best. We need the best if we're going to keep Stelwart alive.
She glares at Aldrich even while she speaks to you.
No one alive today has seen the White Forge, but the old stories tell that it was powerful, glowed white-hot, and gave off a steady, even heat, unlike any other furnace. Let better-schooled folk puzzle over how the thing was built. I just want to see it put to use.
Tell me about the Pargrin dwarves.
Pargrin's a word in their language. Means traveler. They've been wanderers for generations, but I couldn't tell you much more.
All right. Any idea where I should begin?
The battery's up the mountain to the north. A good hike away.
She jerks her head in the direction of the slope behind the house.
Near Galvino's place, huh?
Aldrich says in a breezy tone, but Renegild falls suddenly silent. Concentration hard in the lines of her face. He smiles and draws his knife across the pale apple again.
So it is. Though I was going to suggest dealing with that ogre camp before anything.
She compresses her thin lips into a frown. Who's Galvino?
Mestre Galvino, as the old crosspatch prefers it, lives by himself and keeps the wilder and beasts at bay through sheer foulness of his temper.
She means to say he's a skilled smith and animancer, who's lived in the shadow of Durgan's battery for over a decade.
He looks over his shoulder at you and Renegild. And by Animance's flimsy standards, that makes him an expert, does he? Does it? He folds his arms.
And he butters his bread on both sides and fits his left shoe before his right. But that's neither here nor there.
She crosses her arms and crumples the page in one tightening fist. Seems odd that he lives out in the wilderness by himself.
Not doing much worse than any of us.
Aldrich speaks to you, but his eyes are fixed on Renegild in sullen mischief.
Huh. He wore out his welcome in Stelwart. He's better off with ogres and Lagufoth as his neighbors now.
What happened with him?
Old lunatic finally went too far. And we sent word to the Valiant Academies. I don't like speaking on it, but if you want to get his guff, just remind him that we gave him the boot.
I see.
Ain't nobody here fond of the man, but he's a clever hand and a quick study. It's a fool who thinks he stayed so close to the battery without figuring something about it.
You said as much to the last party, and we haven't seen hide nor hair of him since. Maybe they didn't run afoul of Baragon's ogres after all.
She raises a grey eyebrow at him. Aldrich shrugs and turns back to the fire.
Just watch your step. Galvino's place is a ways east of the battery, and folk who pass it bring unsettling tales.
Well, tell me about the ogre camp, then.
Belongs to Flames That Whisper, Matron Baragon's clan. Hunters tell me they've been active of late.
Hunting elk and otherwise minding their own damn business.
He pops an apple wedge into his mouth and chews it aggressively.
Minding their own business. Never mind the latest expedition's disappearance, or the broken stockade.
She pinches the bridge of her nose, squinting.
I'm saying we shouldn't agitate him further.
He makes to toss another slice of peel into the fire, but he fumbles and drops his knife. He bends to pick it up, cursing. What does this matron have to do with anything?
The brawl outside was just the latest patch of trouble. The ogre clans are getting bolder, and we'll all sleep easier knowing they aren't circling our walls. Also, Baragons like to have whatever the last expedition found. Rumor has it they disappeared near her turf.
She crosses her arm and looks over at Aldrich.
Killing a matron will only make our problems worse. The way to approach Baragon is with your hands held high.
If anyone could parley with an ogre, I suppose it'd be you. But they aren't known for their patience with prattle. Good. Before you leave town, stop by the Grave's Rest. Most visitors to Stelwart spend some time there, so Hafric and his patrons may be able to give you the lay of the land.
Don't know about you, but I'm parched all of a sudden. Actually, I want to ask you something.
What's on your mind?
Questions
The
about
Pargrin
the
dwarves
batteries,
guarded
no?
it. What's on your
Righto.
mind?
I want to know more about Stelwart.
Adir founded us back in their colonial days to supply ore to the Empire. Saw a fair bit of traffic from both sides of the White March then.
She rubs a knob on her shortened ring finger.
But after the Deerwood claimed independence, Defiance Bay found cheaper places to get ore. Didn't have much reason to maintain our supply routes.
Isn't Stelwart part of the Deerwood?
Officially. Though with the state the roads are in, you wouldn't guess it.
Well, let's talk
What's
about
on your
something else,
mind?
and we'll talk to her, finish talking to her in the next part, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and in the next part, we'll focus on getting some shit done. I'll see you guys then.